Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, the first three major enemies of Dragon Ball Z. Jadeite, Nephrite, Zoisite, the first three major enemies of Sailor Moon. The three Saiyans during the Saiyan Saga invaded the Sailor Moon Earth during the Silver Millennium and had to fight the three bodyguards of Prince Endymion. Who would win? For the Saiyan's power, Piccolo, at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, was able to destroy the moon with almost planet levels of force. Raditz, with a power level of 1200 to 1500, was over 3 times stronger than this version of Piccolo, making him baseline planet level at least. Nappa, with a power level of 4000 plus, could tank attacks from people as strong as Raditz. Vegeta, at that point, was much stronger than either of them, with a power level of 1800. 10,000 is the power level in the Dragon Ball universe of being able to destroy general planets, where Earth is considered a small planet. This would make Saiyan Saga Vegeta very likely large planet level, which is consistent with his anime feat of destroying a planet and its moon, as well as Prince Vegeta's similar feat. In their Ozaru forms, the power levels multiply by 10, making them all likely large planet level. For the Kings of Heaven's power, 5 Sailor Sentry, literally seconds after First Awakening, were able to stop a planetary threat by combining their powers, making them low planetary. This is consistent, as in Chapter 3, Sailor Moon's first attack was able to destroy a dimension containing its own orbiting moon, which would be large planet level. The Yoma that could survive this attack were called pathetically weak by Nephrite, suggesting that the three Kings of Heaven easily scaled to this feat. For the Saiyan speed, Piccolo's beam reached the moon in seconds, requiring relativistic to light speed. Raditz was much faster than Piccolo, making him FTL, and Nappa and Vegeta are both much faster than Raditz, making them tens to dozens of times the speed of light. For the Kings of Heaven speed, they should likely scale to Monako, who before even transforming for the first time, traveled to Venus in seconds, as well as Artemis, who brought her back after she collapsed. Given Venus's distance, this would likely be at least 10 times the speed of light. This is consistent with Zoisite dodging reflected moonlight at close range. In terms of the Saiyan's abilities, they have pretty general Dragon Ball Z key abilities. They have energy projection, energy reading, flight, skilled hand-to-hand, etc. Vegeta also has the ability to create an artificial moon, which will turn them into their Ozaru forms, though due to his arrogance he doesn't use it often. In terms of their abilities, the Kings of Heaven have flight, teleportation, and various forms of hacks. Jadeite has energy draining, can open interdimensional portals, transmutation, and can control people's bodies. Nephrite has absorption, various forms of mind hacks, and transmutation. Zoisite has attack reflection, city-scale energy draining, and country-scale mind hacks. In terms of weaknesses, the Saiyans are rather arrogant. They lose their ability to go into their Ozaru forms if their tails are removed. If their tails are pulled, it can weaken them, and Nappa in particular has a low level of intelligence. In terms of weaknesses, the Kings lack hand-to-hand skill or range compared to their opponents, as the range is only shown to be about country level and they have no hand-to-hand feats. Nephrite is also shown to be somewhat overconfident. I also think this fight comes down to starting conditions more than anything else. The fight location, pre-existing knowledge, as well as the mindset going in, whether they're bloodlusted or in character. For this fight, I'm saying that the fight's taking place on the Earth, in character, and with no prior knowledge. Some might think there's a really obvious way that this could be won by the Kings almost automatically, with Jadeite using his body control to simply control the tails of the Saiyans, which would render them powerless. However, there's two real problems with this. The first one is that there's no prior knowledge, meaning Jadeite would not know about the tail weakness of the Saiyans. The second one is that Nappa, just by powering up, was able to resist the telekinesis of Chaozu, which suggests that Jadeite's body control probably wouldn't do anything to him. That said, in a no-knowledge fight, I do think that the Kings of Heaven would probably take the majority, since they are at large planet level and over 10 times the speed of light, which is more equivalent to Saiyan Saga Vegeta or a hypothetical Ozaru Raditz, and would probably be much stronger than Raditz or Nappa in their base forms. Combined with their much stronger abilities like transmutation, mind hacks, etc., this would really suggest that it's basically 3 Saiyan Saga Vegetas with a very hacks power set versus 1 Saiyan Saga Vegeta with normal power set, as well as Nappa and Raditz, which is obviously somewhat of a stomp. That said, it does depend on mindset, as earlier noted. If Vegeta just whipped out the artificial moon immediately, turning the Saiyans into Ozarus, they could probably just immediately overwhelm the Kings of Heaven, since they'd only be about equal to Ozaru Raditz, with Ozaru Nappa and Vegeta being massively stronger and faster. You could also maybe make the argument that they could just blow up the planet, but this is a really bad tactic for them, since the Kings of Heaven can teleport through dimensions and can survive in space, whereas the Saiyans can't at this point, and unless they have a spaceship, they would just die in the vacuum. Their extra range isn't really a big advantage here, especially since the Kings have such great teleportation ability. In conclusion, I really think this is a bloodlusted versus in-character type of fight, where in character, the Kings of Heaven probably just hacks the Saiyans while they're not prepared and not fighting as tactically as they could, whereas if it's bloodlusted, the Saiyans immediately use their Ozaru forms and just raw overpower the Kings of Heaven.